This video will show how to calibrate the flow transducer on the particle counter so that the flow coming out this tube will be the same as the flow being displayed on the display panel. The first thing you do, disconnect the T-fitting and measure the actual flow rate coming out of the tube. To do that, you use a graduated cylinder and a stopwatch, and you measure a 1 minute count. The 1 minute count is going. While that 1 minute count is going, it should be within 1 minute you should get 60 cc's of water in the graduated cylinder. And the reason for that is the sensor has been calibrated at that flow rate, 60 cc's a minute flow rate. So we watch the countdown, and if after 1 minute the water is too low or too high, you adjust the flow rate by raising and lowering the weir. If you lift the weir up high, the water flows faster. You pull the weir down low, the water will flow slower. We're almost at the 60-second mark. Now we can put this back on and we take a look at our flow rate. We're 60. It's best to read at the bottom of the water, but we're approximately 60 cc's, maybe 60.5. So now the procedure we go through here is, you notice the sample light is on. You press the start-stop button so that the sample light is off. Then you press the data button until you have the flow rate being displayed. Now you press the mode button and it says set flow. This will be the number that we read here. We read 60.5, so we can say 60.5. If you read 61, 61 and a half, whatever the number is here, you put that number there. It has a limit. You can only go down 5 cc's up and down. Get as close to 60 as you can. So you set it to 60 and a half. Now we press the mode button again. It says water off. And the way to turn the water off is to simply disconnect this fitting here by pressing up on this ring and pulling down on the tube at the same time. Now you simply let this water drain out. This is the water off. Water off, the water is off. The water is draining out. You press the mode button. Once you've shut the water off, you press the mode button, and now it counts down for 60 seconds. That gives time for all the water in the tubing to stabilize. And at this point you can either keep your finger over here, or you can just put a temporary cap on the tubing. And we're just waiting for the countdown. The way the transducer works, it measures the pressure at the inlet of the sensor. So it measures the pressure when you have the correct flow rate, and it measures the pressure when you have no flow rate. And by knowing those two pressures, that calibrates the transducer to display the correct flow rate. It says water on. You can press the mode button again. The check sensor will come on when there's air in the sensor, so don't worry about that. That will go away. The flow is at 0. You take your tube and you plug it back in right here. Now the flow is coming up. Now tube. And as it flows, the pressure now is coming up through this tube into the pressure transducer. And that pressure is being translated into a flow measurement. And we measured it earlier at 60.5, so this should climb pretty close to 60.5 by the time it's done. You can press the data button to go back into the particle counts. And go back over to the flow. And you see it's coming up close to the 60.5 mark that we set earlier. So if you noticed at the beginning of the video, this reading was reading 58 cc's a minute, which was wrong because the actual flow was 60.5. Now we've calibrated it, and now it measures, it's reading 60.5, it's displaying 60.5, and it's still flowing at 60.5. So now the pressure transducer has been calibrated and the flow reading is correct.
Okay.